Thank you, Dr. Langell, and I would like to add my personal congratulations to all those graduating today and to the many friends and families who supported those who are graduating. So it gives me great pleasure to begin the installation ceremony of Anna Serrano as President and Vice Chancellor of OCAD University. When she assumed the office on July the 1st, 2020, she became the university's first racialized president and vice chancellor. She joined the institution while we were in the midst of the global pandemic, navigating through much change and uncertainty. Under her leadership, the university has reimagined the way it worked and delivered education and prioritized how people connected as a community amid the ongoing isolation everyone experienced, not the least of all the students. She has advanced and supported many initiatives to showcase the talent and creativity of students, faculty, and alumni. She has also cultivated new collaborations and strengthened existing partnerships with governments, the arts and cultural sectors, as well as industry. Additionally, President Serrano has led initiatives to support the university's long-term financial stability and future as leader in art and design education. I would ask that everyone who's able to do so to please rise for the administration of the oath of office. Welcome, Anna Serrano. As President and Vice Chancellor, do you pledge to keep and preserve, well and faithfully, during your period of office, the statutes, liberties, customs, rights, and privileges of OCAD University, and to promote its well-being and that of its members to the best of your ability?
I do so pledge.
In the name of OCAD University, I now install you to the office of President and Vice Chancellor of the University, and I invest in you the authority and charge you with the responsibilities that appertain to this office. Everyone, please join me in congratulating Anna Serrano. Congratulations, Anna. Good. Okay. You may all be seated, please. I would now like to introduce President Serrano. President Serrano is an award-winning innovator and global visionary leader in digital media who has a strong sense of the value of art and design, education and research, and the importance of community and the importance of collaboration. She brings more than 20 years of experience in building award-winning digital products, securing public and private sector investment, creating strategic alliances, and starting new ventures. And she has a proven track record in effectively managing financial resources and leading high-performing teams. Before assuming the role of president and vice chancellor, she was chief digital officer of the Canadian Film Centre for close to 12 years. During her tenure, she launched several unique Canadian startup accelerators, including Canada's first digital entertainment accelerator, Idea Boost, with founding partners Shaw Media, Chorus Entertainment, and Google. She has been an adjunct professor at OCAD University, advising students in the Digital Futures graduate program, and led the formation of the Canadian Film Centre and OCAD University partnership that began in 2011. President Serrano is an active community volunteer and serves as a member on numerous boards of directors, including the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, Open Democracy Project, Toronto Arts Council, and the Atkinson Foundation. She is a recipient of many awards from the digital media, film, and theater industries in Canada and the United States. Earlier this year, she received the 2021 Crystal Award for Digital Trailblazer an honor bestowed by the Women in Film and Television in Toronto. She also received the Digital Media Trailblazer Award from the Academy of Canadian Film and Television in 2016. President Serrano won the Best Canadian Feature Film Award from the International Real Asian Film Festival for her own transmedia production, Prison Dancer, the Musical. And she is currently working on launching Prison Dancer, the musical at the Citadel Theatre for the 2022-2023 season. So please welcome President Anna Serrano.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Brenda, for your kind introduction, and thank you so much, Elder Liz, for that prayer and for your song. For me, this is a moment to savor the transition from being a virtual president of a virtual university with virtual colleagues, meeting in virtual rooms, to being present here in person with all of you today. Since I spent my entire career in digital media, you might think I relished these past 2 years living and working in cyberspace. And you know what? You wouldn't be completely wrong. But I admit that finally being here with all of you today is extremely meaningful for me. So to my esteemed peers, academic leaders, thank you to the folks who came from so far and wide, honorary doctorate recipients, faculty, staff, graduates, and their families and friends and honored guests, welcome and thank you for gathering with us this morning to celebrate the incredible achievements of our graduates. As it was for all of you, my journey towards this moment of being installed as your president and vice chancellor was marked by love and support. So I'd like to give a shout out to the people who have cheered, challenged, and sustained me in this adventure that brought me here today. My family and dear friends, colleagues at the Canadian Film Centre and the broader media and entertainment sector, new media collaborators from across disciplines, and those with whom and for whom I have volunteered in service of making our world a better place. You all know who you are. It's an odd thing to be installed as president of a university 2 years after you have been in the role. I'm not sure it's ever happened before, but it has given me a distinct advantage. Instead of speaking about my aspirations in assuming this role, I can speak about how we, this vibrant community of bold, curious, and compassionate artists, designers, and scholars, aka OCAD University, are imagining and creating a joyful, equitable, and sustainable world. So here goes. I don't need to tell any of you that we live in turbulent times, and this is not going to change. This claim could have been made reasonably at many times in the past and in many places. And in fact, the phrase turbulent times was first used to describe the collapse of the Roman Empire. But I do think that we are at a special moment today, and recognition of this is a precondition for coping with it. One obvious way things are different is the existential threat posed by climate warming. I keep making that mistake. It's climate warming, but I keep saying climate warning. It's a Freudian slip. No one has had to deal with this before. Another is the level of technical innovation and change. In both cases, the underlying rate of change, for example, in the level of greenhouse gas emissions, or in the declining cost of silicon chips or solar panels, may stay more or less the same, but the absolute level changes dramatically. Suddenly, everyone has a smartphone. Suddenly, the wet bulb temperature in parts of India is reaching 35 degrees Celsius. Then add in what Nicholas Taleb has labeled black swan events, and suddenly, over 50% of Ontario residents have been infected with COVID. Suddenly, gasoline prices have risen to $2.10 a litre. The consequences of this level of turbulence are often unexpected, as the pandemic has shown us. In effect, a shock to the system creates a natural experiment. Just as scientists sometimes poke a black box and examine its reactions to see if they can figure out how it works, COVID's natural experiment with Canadian society has not been without heartbreak and has uncovered some harsh truths. As Naomi Klein presciently predicted about shocks in general, the pandemic has highlighted how our society truly works and some of its fundamental inequities. COVID cases have disproportionately included residents in long-term care homes and jails, and essential workers earning minimum wage. Our societal black box does not apparently work as well as we might have thought. And as a university, we cannot be blind to social injustice. The challenge in turbulent times is how we address the injustices they induce and how we achieve the resilience that allows us to cope with massive change and indeed flourish. This applies to both institutions and individuals and constitutes a meta-strategy, basically an overarching view of how an optimal culture, structure, and organizational processes would look. I believe that OCAD University is uniquely positioned to flourish and indeed may be meeting its moment. Let's consider 3 preconditions for flourishing. The first is awareness of the state of the world. The second is making intelligent choices about what to do. And the third is implementing those choices well. Let me unpack these 3 preconditions. Awareness. One way to create awareness of the outside world is to peer out from behind the parapets of the ivory tower as passive observers. This is not the OCAD.U way. As artists, designers, and scholars, our modus operandi is to immerse ourselves in the material realities of a problem, to plunge into various environments and extend the university into the broader ecosystem. We do this through active experimentation, as well as cooperation with other equally bold, curious, and compassionate people across different disciplines and sectors via our programs, our projects, and our research. When we create porous boundaries like this, we redefine and reimagine what constitutes the university. No longer is it defined by the physical space of the institution and the activities that occur within it, but it is better defined by its role in the broader ecosystem, in which the university becomes a vibrant hub, as described by the academic and strategic plan we have recently finalized. Everyone. Now let's turn to the question of how we choose as a university what to do. Making intelligent choices depends on having a good understanding of the implications of the information available to you. Our new academic and strategic plan envisions OCAD University as the home of artists, designers, makers, scholars who are shaping conversations about the present and future of Canadian society, and home to creatives who reimagine a world in flux through art and design practices and scholarship. This is in the long Canadian intellectual tradition of looking at broad societal consequences of technology, from Harold Innis to George Grant to Marshall McLuhan. Thankfully, there are scholars here at our university and elsewhere who are bringing new diverse lenses to bear. For a long time now, OCAD University has demonstrated through action its commitments to decolonizing art and design education. Our Indigenous Visual Culture program, for example, is one of the first of its kind to be established at an art and design university. We have shepherded new forms of academic inquiry and action-oriented research through our world-renowned Strategic Foresight and Innovation Program and award-winning Inclusive Design Research Center, to name two. And we will be launching our Global Center for Climate Resilience through Art and Design, which will involve animating the waterfront at Bathurst Quay, where the malting silos act as a reminder of the intersection of agriculture and industry that shaped our country in the 20th century. In short, OCAD University and our amazing faculty and actually our amazing students keep pushing the boundaries of how we learn to see and what we need to do to fully grasp and apprehend our world. Through the remarkable leadership of our IB-POC academic leaders, Deans Foster, Turnstall, Shrivastava, and Mather, along with Provost Caroline Langell, OCAD University recognizes and embraces the importance of different ways of knowing, such as Indigenous perspectives, and explicitly works to learn from and harness sources of traditional wisdom through the way we hire, the way we teach, and the way we work with the community. Finally, let's talk about getting things done. OCAD University has significant advantages here. Some obvious, some not so obvious. The obvious advantages, besides our unique and well-deserved brand value, are that we are small enough to be nimble, small enough to achieve common purpose, and young enough not to be hobbled by the accumulated weight of tradition. The more subtle advantage is in the way we approach innately the creation of great art and design. It's ironic that our much-loved iconic building is identified as the achievement of a single person, Will Alsop, where the more typical and emergent characteristic of what we do is co-creation, the product of teams and respectful partnerships. Collaboration is in our DNA. Sure, individual talent and genius will continue to create great things, as many of our medal winners we are celebrating today's show, but increasingly each year, more of them represent robust creative collaborations. As OCAD University has extended its reach to encompass the creation of complex objects and experiences, urban spaces, virtual reality environments, and interdisciplinary solutions such as in our Design for Health program, we have come to embrace more complex creative processes where interdependence and trust are essential. My conclusion is that in terms of the core functions necessary for addressing issues of social justice and flourishing in turbulent times, OCAD University is uniquely equipped to thrive. I hope to keep it that way. Now, turning to the implications for our students. We know that the student journey cannot start and end in the 4 years at OCAD University. In a rapidly changing world, the single learning intervention of a degree simply won't be enough to keep our graduates positioned for a lifetime of success. Rather, we must continue to extend our teaching into areas of specialization better suited for postgraduate education or certificate programs. Ideally, throughout your association with OCAD University, current and future students will become further immersed in a new kind of ecosystem in which there is a potential for a lifetime of flourishing. So to all of you graduates today, I say, come back. We selfishly hope you will become lifelong members of the university and an essential component. More eyes and ears on the ground, a sounding board for testing new ideas, and partners in delivery. In return, you have our commitment that there will always be something new for you to learn, that we can teach you, or that we can co-create together. I will close now, I promise. And I'll close by stressing the underlying ethos that guides our way forward. In the country I come from, the Philippines, there is a key word, kapwa. that underpins the Filipino worldview. It's very hard to translate, but it means roughly fellow feeling or shared identity. As my great kababayan, fellow Filipino, the Nobel Prize winner Maria Reza pointed out in her acceptance speech, the static value of kapwa has to be supported by active processes. In the Filipino case, a very deeply rooted system of reciprocal giving exemplified by utang na loob, the debt from within, or the obligation you feel to others. Taken together, they represent an exact instance of the communitarian spirit that activist David Graeber, in his best-selling book, The Dawn of Everything with David Wengrow, has identified as integral to many ancient societies, such as the indigenous people who lived here in Takaranto on the very land we stand on. A communitarian spirit that has been ground down in an age of winner-takes-all competitive capitalism. The world needs to restore its kapwa. The world needs more recognition of mutual obligation. My commitment to living these values is expressed as exquisite markings woven into this robe I wear today. And similarly, in my 2 years at OCAD University, I have found the kapwa spirit woven throughout the different layers of the institution. So let us all be loud and proud and shout, yes, we are OCADU artists, designers, and scholars. We tackle the big problems of our times with boldness. We approach opposing viewpoints with curiosity, and we engage in the world with compassion. We're moving forward in the right direction, and together we will flourish. Thank you.